Welcome back to the CSP Elite Baseball Development Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Cressey, and this is our 52nd installment of Pinch Hit Friday. Super excited for a guest presenter today. Eric Schoenberg is the owner of Diamond Physical Therapy, which operates out of Cressey Sports Performance, Florida. Eric and I have collaborated on a ton of rehabs across the entire spectrum of shoulder and elbow and everything else injuries, from youth baseball all the way up to Cy Young Award winners and comeback players of the year in Major League Baseball. He's a board certified physical therapist and strength coach and specializes in the management of baseball players. His treatment approach is to evaluate an individual's movement, posture, and body type to determine the why behind an individual's pain or limitation in their sport and life. He's certified in the Grasson technique and blood flow restricted training. We've collaborated on the elite baseball mentorships in the past and plan to bring those back very soon. He's also a baseball dad, so a guy who speaks the language, not just with someone in the clinical realm, but also one who's been around healthy players and managed the dynamics of raising a baseball and softball family. So really excited for this presentation where he's going to talk to you about the dangers of rushing back from an injury or a surgery and what the research says. I actually learned some cool little tidbits here as I listened to this before we went live. So I think we're in for a good episode. This episode is brought to you by First Form, an awesome supplement company with a comprehensive product offering that I enjoy using myself and with our athletes. Beyond the broad product line they offer, I also love First Form's commitment to ensuring that their products are the highest quality. They meet NSF certified for sports standards for both consistency and purity. Their Formula One protein powder is the best tasting option I've had in over 20 years in the fitness industry, and they've got several great flavors to choose from. I also lean on their creatine monohydrate to support hard training, their collagen for joint health, their magnesium to help with sleep quality, and their fish oil for a variety of health benefits. Our daughters and I also share a love for their high-protein meat sticks, which have become a big hit in the Cressey household for school lunches and on-the-go protein options as we head to gymnastics and softball practices. Of course, First Form products also have been really popular with our athletes at Cressey Sports Performance, and they're used by some of the top-performing athletes and most recognizable sports franchises in the world. Above all, the people at First Form are top-notch, and that's a rarity in an often unethical business. First Form is dedicated to empowering people on their fitness journeys, and that dedication is matched by only their unwavering commitment to exceptional quality and unparalleled customer service. Check them out for yourself at www.firstform.com/Cressey. That's 1stphorm.com/CRESSEY and get free shipping on your order of $75 or more. Additionally, they're offering amazing 10% more than your money back guarantee if you're not fully satisfied with your purchase. Again, that's firstform.com/Cressey to get free shipping on your order of $75 or more.
I really appreciate the opportunity to briefly talk about an important topic that impacts every player involved in the game of baseball. Today, we're going to talk about the dangers of returning to play too soon after injury or surgery and why patience pays off. Imagine you're a baseball player who's just had surgery after an injury. The urge to get back in the game is strong, and so is the pressure. But what does the research say about returning to play too soon? Let's dig into the facts to see why patience really does pay off. The first question we need to ask is, why do players want to return early? We can preface this whole conversation by saying that each player's situation is unique and is highly personal, with nuances that aren't always clear from the outside looking in. Additionally, we're going to talk mostly about return to play after Tommy John surgery, but these principles hold true for any injury or surgery in baseball. Here are some reasons for returning quickly that come to mind. Helping the team and staying in the lineup matters. Nobody wants to lose their spot. This is particularly common in college and pro ball, where it simply becomes the next man up. For some players, financial or contract pressures can be real motivators. The only player that doesn't feel pressured by this is one that is already locked into a long-term deal. Everyone else falls into this category. Next, teammates, coaches, parents, and fans may often unintentionally push for a quick comeback. I want to comment briefly about amateur and youth coaches being the decision makers for when a player is ready to return to competition. Would you go to see your doctor to learn how to throw a new pitch or help you hit a curveball? Of course not. That's why you have a coach, right? Then why would we rely on a baseball coach to determine when you're ready to play? No disrespect, but the vast majority of amateur and youth coaches are far from qualified to be making these choices alone. Yet these critical decisions about you or your child's short-term and long-term future are being made by coaches every day. Think about that for a minute. Moving on, here's what the science says about the physical risks of returning to play too soon. The majority of the research used one pitch thrown at the pre-injury level as the guideline for successfully returning to play. So when you read that a player returned at 12 months post-op, for example, that does not account for how long he stayed playing or how effective he was. In a large review of Major League Baseball pitchers returning from Tommy John surgery, the range that returned to pitch the same level was 80 to 97%. Again, using the criteria of one pitch thrown at that level. Looking deeper, the studies also looked at return to same performance, or RTSP. That number was only 67 to 87%. Taking it one step further, if an athlete needs a revision surgery or second Tommy John, which occurs in 13 to 15% of big league pitchers in their career, then the return to play at any level, not even the same level, drops to 77%, and the return to the same performance drops to 55%. Now, these are numbers for the top players in the world with the best resources and technology to assist them. What do you think these numbers would be for a high school or college player with very limited resources or expertise around them? This reminds me of the John Wooden quote, "If you don't have time to do it right, then when will you have time to do it over?" Speaking more to re-injury rates, according to a review in Sports Health, athletes who resume play before full tissue healing are at increased risk for not just re-injury, but also for more severe career-impacting damage. This leads me to a point that I really want to come through clearly to you guys. The surgically reconstructed ligament after Tommy John isn't fully mature for 18 to 24 months. Yet we are taking a 17-year-old that throws 92 miles an hour and sending him into a competitive environment at 11 or 12 months just because they look good in a bullpen or hit a certain velo number once or twice. That formula doesn't work. Additionally, returning too soon can result in compensatory injuries. Research published in Orthopedic Journal of Sports Medicine found that pitchers who came back early after shoulder surgery often adjusted their throwing mechanics. This led to new injuries in the elbow or back within the first season of return. Already this offseason, we have 3 or 4 pro guys that have experienced a major arm injury due to compensated mechanics from an old injury to a different body part. This is definitely something that we all need to pay attention to. Returning too soon will also lead to performance risks and decline. MLB data analyzed by Dr. Fleissig showed that pitchers who returned before meeting full rehab milestones posted lower velocity and control in their first season back compared to those who waited for clearance and finished their timeline. Further, a study in the Journal of Shoulder and Elbow Surgery found athletes who rushed their return were 30% more likely to need a second surgery. All of this said, we don't have time in our careers for long-term rehabs, but they're going to happen to some players. In those cases, we definitely don't have time for long setbacks or second surgeries that occur due to bad information or impatience. So here are some suggestions to help you make a safe comeback following injury or surgery. Number 1, find and collaborate with a qualified and experienced medical and training team. You wouldn't go to a heart doctor to perform your Tommy John surgery, even though they're both doctors, right? So why would you go to just any old physical therapist or strength coach to help you return to the field? Just because a relative knows someone that lives close by doesn't mean that you should trust that person with your health and your career. Number 2, put yourself in an environment where you feel like you're supported and you can communicate freely without pressure of being judged or that your words will be used against you. Number 3, establish a routine and eliminate bad habits. This is your best and maybe only opportunity in your career to work on every little detail to become a better player. This can be everything from sleep and nutrition to improving your body and getting distractions out of your life. Don't waste a day in this process. 4, Meet functional milestones before progressing. Understand your protocols and timelines, but use them as a guardrail, not as something that is set in stone. Gradual supervised return to play programs are associated with fewer setbacks and longer careers. If you do experience pain, speak up. It is easier to miss a day so you don't miss a week. It's easier to miss a week so you don't miss several months. Be honest with yourself and don't try to be a tough guy. Pain during rehab is almost never normal, regardless of what anyone tells you. 5, consider psychological readiness. Don't go at this alone. Lean into your support system. Talk to other players that have gone through the same process so that you have an outlet to vent and bounce questions off of. So to wrap up, the research is clear. Trying to get back to baseball too soon after surgery can put you at risk for setbacks, new injuries, and even a shorter career. Our advice is to play the long game. Trust the science, listen to your medical team, and give your body and mind the time they need to heal. That way, you'll be ready for success not just now, but for many seasons to come. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Diamond Physical Therapy, located inside Cressey Sports Performance, if we can help in any way. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.